How do there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV, where today we're going to look at the Premier League of Darts Night 11 with an incident between Michael Van Gerwen and the referee on the night, Russ Bray. Now, while you're enjoying this video, please do take a look below just to check if you are subscribed to Edgar TV. Most people do actually watch Edgar TV but not actually subscribe, and it does help me out quite a bit if you hit that button. Now, if you was watching the game last night, you may have noticed Michael Van Gerwen just throwing a dart away towards the end of the game with Jonny Clayton in the final, and then at the conclusion of the game then getting into a bit of a heated exchange, shall we say, with Russ Bray. He went round, shook everyone's hand, had a bit of a word, but then went back again after clapping the crowd and again having a quick chat with Jonny Clayton. He went over and got into a bit of a discussion with Russ Bray. It actually then got into a bit of an exchange, both parties throwing backwards and forwards, and then it looked like Russ Bray said, "I will talk about this sort of off stage in the back area." Now, Michael Van Gerwen has since this incident gone on Twitter and actually said this: "It wasn't to be in the final, but more points on the table. Well done to Jonny Clayton at the end. At the end, I was annoyed about something else. Nothing to do with the fans. The atmosphere was brilliant in Aberdeen this evening. Thank you, Scotland. Now for a weekend with my family." So when you rewatch the incident, you look at it all back and you see the situation, the something else is Russ Bray. You know, the conversation that they had at the end was clearly Michael Van Gerwen not happy about something. Now, during this game, we had an awful lot of whistling. And I'm not one that really bothers too much about the whistling, but there was one person in particular that was doing like this whistly tune that even sat at home watching it was really annoying. So I can imagine how distracting that might have been in the crowd. And obviously I've had a look on Twitter as well to see some of your comments, and pretty much the same. I mean, I put a comment saying I hope someone kicks this guy in the nuts. Maybe a slap round the face would have worked. Any of those sort of things. It was, I don't know what he was doing or how he even made it happen, but it was really frustrating, and I can imagine that would have been very distracting on stage. Russ Bray tried to get a little bit of order there by basically calling out "thank you," and obviously this was happening on the Jonny Clayton throw, Jonny Clayton being the villain of the night because he played two Scottish players before and the event being played in Scotland. Now, Russ Bray, obviously those calls are going to come when Michael Van Gerwen's going to his throw, because it's going to be after Jonny Clayton thrown his darts. And I think Russ Bray then was becoming frustrated with himself because, like I said, that whistle was extremely annoying. I was getting annoyed just at home, so I can imagine what it was like there. And then the body language started becoming a little bit more apparent. And I think this is probably the big moment in which we're talking about here. Michael Van Gerwen wants 85, throwing for the match, and Russ Bray turns round to give one of his thank yous. Arm out, full body expression there as Michael Van Gerwen is towing the oche. It's an unexpected noise, it's an unexpected action. Now, this is something I spoke about before when we spoke about whistling. If you go back and watch my videos I've done before where we talk about the crowds and the whistling, and people say about the referee doing something, I said that's actually more distracting to the players. You know, that whistling, that noise is probably something that you're already having to deal with, but then the unexpected calls or the turns or the body language or things that might happen will make that a bit tricky. Now, if we take the position here of a referee, look at Russ Bray where he's standing. So one thing we know is that the oche is 7'9¼ so let's call that 8 feet, for example. So we put Russ Bray here, so he's going to stand. We're going to take his back leg because that's where his presence is, his shoulder. That's the first thing that comes into where Michael Van Gerwen is. And Michael Van Gerwen's stance point there. He is already more than halfway down the oche. Russ Bray there. And I've estimated this is about 1.05 metres away from Michael Van Gerwen. So if this was still COVID times, that don't even class as social distancing. So it's actually really quite close. And Michael Van Gerwen's going to lean in as well. So if there is any expression or movement, that is going to be heavily noted, and I think that is the main reason behind Michael Van Gerwen's grievance. So what is the actual answer? Now, if you have a look at this one here, darts referee threatens to pull players off stage. Video I've done here on Edgar TV. I will move this over to the end screen as well if you've not seen that and you'd like to see that video. Now, what happens here is in a European Tour event, Darrell Gurney versus Joe Cullen, both players distracted by the whistling, and George Noble then decides to say that he's going to take the players off the stage if the whistling did not stop, and also for the crowd to point out the people that are doing the whistling so that the security can then eject them from the arena. This got a round of applause. Now, the difference between this situation and the Russ Bray one, Michael van Gerwen was coming for a match-winning shot. A 2-dart finish, 85. He did get a dart at the balls at a 3 darts because he missed the treble, but, you know, it's a 2-dart possible combination to win the match. George Noble did this sort of in between the break of the legs. So maybe that's something we could look at in terms of that, or is this just now a situation where this is just the way crowds are going? I see people on Twitter, like I say, in those comment sections talking about things like the security. I don't think there's enough security to tackle individual voices like that on that sort of level when you're talking crowds of 10 to 12,000 people. You know, I also look at other situations like a penalty in football sort of thing. You know, that is the noise, the visuals, everything that's going on with that. Is that just the way darts are going now, and that actually this is maybe a little bit out of the control? I do think we are in that element though where people are doing this to try and affect games. You know, they was trying to make Michael van Gerwen win that game and Jonny Clayton lose. It actually had a negative effect because then other things happened and other areas got involved with that. Personally, I think the only way forward with this is sort of retrospectively going backwards and doing things, and that's just with an increasing of CCTV and increasing of cameras. Again, we go back to things like football. You know, people don't run on the pitch. You could easily, it's right there, there's no barrier, there's nothing stopping you, but people know that there's those sort of lifetime bans or 10-year bans for breaking that boundary. I think that might be the boundary that we look at here with the whistle. It's not the noise, it's those whistles. And like I said, that one the other night, that I don't know what he was doing, but it was really frustrating. I know that for sure. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please do hit the like button. That's a thumbs up just underneath. And I'll catch you all soon for some more Edgar TV. Edgar TV.